So we have got just 2 days left to go until Sevens World Rush Duel comes to Duel Links, bringing new cards and skills, a brand new format, and of course, like usual this week, we've got a new gameplay video to go through this time around, focusing on ROMIN with her sidekicks and Yuga with the Dark Magician skill. We're getting as a free legend, and so we'll see if they're any good. And spoilers, I think both of them are going to be viable. They're both really cool skills, and they're doing things I like with skills. I like this, so let's dive in. But before we do, we've got the animation for Prima Gitana. Let's check that out.
Prima Gitana, the shining superstar, is here in Duel Links!
So let's start with Yuga's skill first of all, Magician Shuffle. Now this is a special skill, it's not a normal skill. I believe it's either a legend skill or an archive skill. We saw both of those names leak, and this one does have a special icon compared to normal skills, so that's probably happening. Now, this skill can be used if you have no effect monsters in your deck with 2,500 more tab points. This does mean you are again locked out of Dragias, locked out of Yamirula, and I like this, right? With Rush Duel, they're kind of forcing you to play in certain ways, and at least for Yuga, they're giving him at least 3 or 4 different skills all going to be viable for different strategies, rather than just being 4 variations on, let's say, Jaden of how much better can you make heroes, right? So it can be used on turn 2 and onward by revealing a dark spellcast with 700 more defense points in your hand to your opponent, so that's going to be Dark Magician Girl, or if we get it, Sevens Road Warlock I think it is, and then you either add a DM or DMG from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and send a Dark Attribute Spellcaster with 17 more defense from your hand to your graveyard, so it's kind of like a switcheroo recycle, right? And the best part of these skills is they're not once per duel, which we kind of assumed they would be, but they're not, meaning the first time around you use this, you might go, you know what, I want DMG, you search her out, you dump DM in the graveyard, summon DMG, she's now got more attack points. Or, later on in the duel, you go, you know what, go for an explosive play, I want DM, bring it back from the graveyard, play a dumb magic attack, nuke the back row, attack in, very, very cool.
I set this card earlier for this moment. I activate my spell card. Okay, let's battle. Now! I attack with my monster.
I'm still...
We've then got Climax Beat, the ROMIN skill, and your deck must have only psychics in it that are 2,400 attack points or less, meaning, again, you can't smash things in, but also, you are kind of locked out from some of her future cards, right? I believe like the Candy archetype, right, has some big boss monsters that this skill can't be used with, at least right now. Can be activated during a turn on turn 2 and onward when you've summoned level 2 monster that turn, set one Climax Finale or Lullabind from your deck or graveyard in your Spawn Trap God zone, and if you're life for 1,000 or below, you can gain 1,000. Now, this of course is important because psychics like getting effects off when your life points lower than your opponent's, but also you want more life points to pay for the effect of Climax Finale, which makes you pay life points equal to the number of psychic monsters in your graveyard times 100, to make a psychic on your field gain attack points times 100 equal to those psychics in your graveyard. So it is a 1-turn buff for a monster on your field, but you can get that every single turn of the duel, given you are most likely to be summoning a level 2 psychic over and over and over again. But also, we've got Lullabind, and this is a Book of Moon on your turn, potentially every turn, right? And it's really good because not only getting around big boss monsters, right, but there is of course going to be Yamirula in the format, and while it's face up, it is a floodgate that stops you summoning your level 7 higher monsters, and so if you Book of Moon this, you can then sack off your 2 weaker monsters, summon into your big boss monster, the Prima Gitana, and then go to town from there. And Prima Gitana, pay 1,000, make all your monsters gain attack points, most likely going to be 900 every turn, right? So it's a decent buff for every card on your field, especially when you've got a bunch of vanillas, right? They are pretty weak, but this brings them up 1,200 to 1,600 to 1,400, which isn't too terrible, not overly amazing, but better than nothing, right? Also, we're getting Folder Blitz. At level 7, if your life are 2k lower than your opponent's, burn your opponent 1,500 points of damage. In the late game, you know, if you're assuming with the skill, right, that they intend for you to be like 1,000 lower quite often, then this being able to give, get you back into the game and close to your opponent is going to be huge. Then we've got Berry Basis, a level 6. If you have a face-up psychic type on your field, pay 500, to special summon level 2 from your graveyard, which would then trigger the skill to search out for your attack point boost or your Book of Moon, which is it's just great, right? That every turn you've got access to these big disruptors that the deck kind of needs, because by itself they are weaker than other monsters, right? And it's only when you have the attack point gain of the Prima Gitana or the finale that they're going to actually kind of come into an element. And of course, we've got DM support, right? DM's a legend. DMG is buffed from her TCG counterpart, right? She now gains 500 rather than 300 because you only have one DM in the deck, and so it does mean now you're kind of limited to 1,000 attack point gain. And also, Dark Magic Attack. This one is kind of crazy, but I don't think it'll be that good day one, right? Because so far, we've not seen that much back row, right? We've seen the Phantom Bind Trap card, and that's the scariest thing we've seen. So I guess if your opponent is like playing against Psychics, right? And they are setting their finales every turn, right? Then this does get rid of them. You know, it does mean that on their turn, that they won't be able to use this if they are saving it, right? But I think going forward, this will get better. But again, we've not seen everything. And the cool thing about these skills is that it gets around one of Rush's biggest weaknesses in OCG, is that in the actual card game, there's no main deck searching, so this skill, both of them, they search from your deck or graveyard. So it's giving Rush in Duel Links something unique, more so than just skills. It's giving it main deck searching, and searching for your boss monster can be really good. But of course, especially with the DM skill, you've got to see that DMG or the DM to get the search off. Hopefully in 30 cards you will do by turn 2, but it also means if you do see DM or DMG in your opening hand, then you are going to want to keep it in your hand for next turn, meaning you draw one card less, which might not be the thing you want to do, because you might want to get a full 5 cards of value on your next draw. But at the moment, it seems like you're just playing DM splashed in with Sevens Road, and I think maybe Sevens Road by itself will be better. Who knows, we'll have to wait and see. But that is all. That is a very quick video going through the brand new gameplay and confirmed cards. Tomorrow, of course, expect another video, probably going to be Gavin versus Yuga, so Sevens Road versus the Yamarula deck, and that'll be interesting to see, you know, see what happens, and hopefully there's a tease at the main box. You know, we've of course had so far, we've had the structure deck, we've had the login campaign, just kind of makes sense, right? Last one, be the main box, that'll be cool. So yeah, so let me force down below. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links Rush video, probably tomorrow, hopefully. If not, of course, Thursday for the brand new world. See you then.